Oh, hi, everybody. We're here.
Morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Little coffee time or whatever you're gonna sip on.
It's my iced coffee. It's what I drink in the summer.
Iced coffee. The fake electors. Yeah, I didn't even know. I sent you a text through it. Did you look at there's a jury trial going for the Wisconsin fake electors.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know they were looking at them, but here they were fighting the courts and privilege and everything, and the
Yeah,
judge
they're in trying to
Madison
prove.
here said it's a go for
Mm-hmm.
for the state crimes of the Wisconsin fake electors. I'm like, yes,
That's what they need to do because if people think, well, I can just sign on anything and do what I want. I mean, I lived in Chicago in the 50s and 60s. I lived through old Mayor Daley, the original Richard J. Daley. Um, and, everybody there felt very unempowered. They couldn't do anything about it, and they were afraid to speak up. And we just need to let people know they have to speak up. I read an article today about a town that's 25 miles. It's a trailer. Well, ends up it's a bunch of trailer parks, 25 miles outside of Colorado Springs, that has the most polluted water that's in a water system, and it's from a well. And the well has now all of the pesticides, and they have high levels of radiation from mining that was done in the area. And the people can't drink their water that's supplied to them from the well. And there's been this long drawn out fight. And it's really sad because it's a bunch of veterans that are about my age, that are living out in this. And um, and that's one of the projects that like Biden's new money is going in to do is to create a clean water system for these people. They'd be better to they people in that trailer park have to go down and pay $1.50 to the truck stop to get a shower because they're afraid to shower in the water. And Colorado's not a place where you can live without water. You know,
yeah,
so I hope people are learning to speak up and let their gripes be known. I mean, I fight against politicians in this state because their overall policies are corrupt, but it doesn't affect me every day. I can drink the water.
yeah,
Of course, I have it filtered through my refrigerator because my kids are picky that way. But
yeah. I still gotta filter everything.
hmm
No, there's so much, minerals and whatnot.
yeah, I grew up in hard
Like,
water too. In Illinois, we had a big water softener in our house because the water was so hard.
yeah, we got the water softener, but it's just the recycled town water or whatever,
Hmm
and I filter it. And when the filter says it's done, I pick it up. It is heavy.
Oh, there's tough. We want our audience to drink clean water, eat organic when you can, because we need you all to make it to November 2024.
Oh yeah, the fresh water is good. It's important.
I can remember real artisanal well water up in Canada where my parents came from, and it just tastes so different than water I've ever had anywhere else.
Yeah, our
You know,
old farm water, it was
the, it,
it was so
mhm,
good. Even with all the being a farm and the chemicals involved with spraying the
mhm,
crops and everything, and runoff and everything, I had it tested every year, and it was always fine, and
mhm.
it's good stuff.
I live in
I
the
mentioned
Midwest.
it before, but the tastiest water I ever had was straight out of the ground
Hmm
because there was these old I can't remember what they're called. They're like runoff pipes from where areas that are flooded.
Yeah.
You put in the pipes in
hmm
the ground
hmm
to get the groundwater out so you can plant
hmm
the crops. Well, anyway, down in our creek, I was cutting thistles and whatnot, and there's this pipe
hmm
that comes out of the ground from the ground for the runoff, but it comes in the creek, and there's all that slime and stuff in the pipe, but to go down there and take some of that water, the purest water I've ever had, just straight out of the runoff ground. Just,
Yeah. You're on the top of a lot of limestone too, aren't you?
yeah, there's limestone. Yeah.
Yeah, because where I grew up in Illinois, it was all limestone underneath, and all the water. If you had a well, it went through all of that filtering within the ground too. We had a filter on top of it, but my parents did where we lived. But yeah, and the other thing I've been reading since I'm doing my 9 candles on at things coming in from outer space, I've been reading that they are declaring they're in the process of the UN deciding if we're in a new era called Anthropocene, and that means that humans have changed the climate and changed the structure of the world so much. And the mark point they're using is when we started doing atomic testing, because all they can mark wood by when they started the nuclear bomb testing, and the radiation got in the woods and all the plants. It also got in all the groundwater and everything else. And the greatest exposure to all that was in the 60s when they were blowing them off all over everywhere. And now it's going down, but it's still in there. And there's other signs that mankind has changed the earth enough that we're going to now have our own era, just like the dinosaurs had. I hope we last longer, but
uh, Another story I read is that the water coming off the mountains and whatnot from California is plentiful.
mm-hmm.
They
Oh
had
yeah.
so much snow last year, so the reservoirs
Mm-hmm.
are full, and that's a great thing too, because they're always talking about the fires and you know heat and everything.
Yeah, all the snow went there instead of going to Canada. So there.
So,
Did you see the chocolate rivers in Utah?
no,
Yeah, they have so much runoff, and they've had so much rain in Utah that rivers are busting through, and they're creating these waterfalls. And for all intents and purposes, it looked like giant chocolate milkshakes are coming off the cliffs because there's so
but
much dust and mud in them. It was absolutely fascinating, and um, I went, well, that's kind of different. But they said it's been a runoff that hasn't happened in like 20 years.
there's
And for you on the East Coast, they did announce that Don is now an official hurricane out in the Atlantic.
uh-oh,
I
hurricane
know.
season.
I don't like tornadoes, but at least we don't worry about it till we see big thunderclouds. We don't hear for 5 days, it's coming for you, it's coming for you.
Yeah, I seen the restrictions in Cali, but it's still good news that they have plenty of water there from that.
Well, we shouldn't waste any fresh water. And I think Rose Blue lives in Texas, and you know how water goes here. We'll have it for a
Yeah.
while and then it goes away again.
Parts of the East Coast, including IKEA store in Brooklyn, underwater by 2050.
That's true.
Could could be sooner.
And that's not from rain, that's from the ice cap melting.
Yeah, there was a scientist story on CNN about how they draw how the Greenland area ice is melting so fast.
It's fracking. It's melting from underneath now.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's it's coming fast. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We're gonna have a rise in the seas.
I tell you, when the coast gets to Dallas, y'all can come live with me because I don't think. I mean, and then it has to be at the top of the Rockies. You know, that's the other safe place. But
Yeah,
Houston, bye bye.
just as giggles, I was I was researching the sea level of some of the Caribbean islands,
Hmm.
and it looks like any a few feet, let's say, of rise. Jamaica
Hmm.
Jamaica is high enough, but
Hmm.
like Punta Cana and whatnot, if they have a few feet, we get a few feet of rise. gone. It's so low.
There's some country in the South Pacific that it's already shrinking so fast that they have gone around and virtually gone with 3D, with cameras, and they've filmed everything in the island and what it looks like, and they're creating themselves as a virtual nation because they know within 3 to 4 years they're going to have to abandon the island and go live somewhere else, and they want people to have some images of their roots where they came from.
Yeah, in that CNN report, they said they drilled down
Mm-hmm.
how far, thousands of feet, whatever, and they found
Mm-hmm.
life. There was life.
Yeah.
Ancient life was down there, plants and what and seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Not possible under ice for any kind of thing. So that was actual land at one point.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, they've had in Siberia when they've had mammoths that got just sort of chunked in the ice. They pulled them out and they've been able to see the seeds and the plants in their mouths, and some of them still have fur on them. So when it freezes you, I mean that's a real deep freeze.
Yep.
And climate change, as far as ice goes, it can happen really fast because it's usually due to a catastrophic event like a Krakatoa or something like that, where it blocks so that ice builds up really quickly. And I've seen a whole documentary on a whole ice age that really just affected most of North America. It's what froze a lot of the animals that we used to have that were like everybody else. That's where our kind of mammoths and stuff went, and also across Northern Europe. And they couldn't figure out why only that part of the world had an ice age. And now they found the impact points where the asteroids hit and caused, and the way the cloud would have gone from there, it just froze the northern hemisphere. So it can happen that fast, guys. So don't look up.
Don't look up. It was that movie 2012, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah. No, so it was since it was during lockdown. I saw it. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm sure they made it before lockdown. Anyway, can we get on some cheerier subjects like indicting false electors?
Yeah, let's little info out there.
Will attempts be made to physically attack?
Yeah.
Let's see if there'll be attempts made to attack her. This woman's got no friends anywhere, so why does
I'm
pick it
just
out?
going to concentrate on her generally. It'll come out full spread if
If something happens to her, we'll hone in on who did it.
Yeah. I never want to look at death threats and stuff, but it'll come out in the Christine's on the indictment watch. Yep, we'll check that out. I got a little frog. Oh, I gotta check that out. A documentary on Antarctica. It was an eye opener.
Is it which channel, which server, which?
Yeah, I don't know.
Streaming. I'll find it. I'll get my tech support to find it. Tech support can find anything for me and get it for me free.
Good morning, Christine.
No, I don't see she's going to be attempt. I think there's some of them that are hanging around thinking about it, like if she doesn't do what we think she should do. But believe it or not, I think she's going to deal with it straight. That's the sort of justice. I think she's going to try to do the best she can. She's getting pressured though. She's got tower type pressure on her to go the way they want. But this is her splitting from the people that thought they were her partner. So I think the Federalist Society is not going to tell her what to write like they did last time.
Okay.
What do you think?
The first three cards show she's going to do what she needs to do as a normal federal jury would do.
Mm-hmm.
Knight of Coins is a
Mm-hmm.
person of honor. Six of Swords make things comfortable. Next to the Five of Wands, there are some conflicts there, but it feels with these other ones, it feels like she doesn't want any problems. You know, she doesn't want to be scoured at like before.
Mm-hmm.
But there is some stress there. I think she knows that violence could happen and death threats because she's heard about it. She's not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the Ten of Wands, Eight of Swords, King of Wands. So that feels like there would be possibly some protection. Oh, what the heck happened to my screen?
Are we not there?
Now I bumped something.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So Ten of Wands, Eight of Swords, King of Wands. So that feels like protection. Like there is some burdens there, some stresses. Um, King of Wands and Eight of Swords. That would it feels like maybe some security going
Mm-hmm.
on there. But in the end, I don't see it as far as any kind of physical attack or anything. But I got the walking away card here in the end.
I have a funny feeling her case is not going to be as important as
Yeah,
when
it
he
won't.
gets indicted in D.C. And the biggest threat to Trump still is the trial in Georgia because none of his friends can get him out of it. If he gets convicted there, they can lock him up, as his crowd is so likely to claim. So
So I got her walking away, universal love, and then kind of reflecting or having some grief. It just feels like she doesn't want to do the wrong thing here.
well, she's got a big fat book. Have you ever seen Glenn Kirshner hold up that code of
Yeah.
federal whatever? And it's like, it's like the size of the unabridged dictionary. And she's got everything outlined. You don't, there's certain discretion if you want to look at things certain ways, but that's what she
Oh, yeah.
tried to do before, and that didn't work so well for her.
But it feels like the heat's off of her though because he's going to
Hmm.
be indicted so many times in this other venues. This one case is not going to make everything.
And I think she took some of the heat off herself by not either going with the the prosecution for the December date, but the next logical date was March, which was right in the middle. That y'all don't. I mean, since y'all don't normally think of things in terms of primary season, for a lot of us in some states, primaries are when the seats are won because there's nobody running against the other side, or it's just so one-sided. But
Yeah,
the
but that
primary
takes.
season is really March.
Oh yeah, Sidney Powell's in big trouble.
Yeah.
We don't have to worry about them. We got to remember, 45 has got so many things going on.
Hmm.
Uh, Eugene Carroll's going to give him again for another 10 million.
Hmm.
Tish James is going after the business, seeking
Hmm.
50 million in
And
October.
that's his kids and him.
Not Ivanka though. She
No.
got yeah the two boys and 45. Um, Manhattan DA in March will put him in prison.
Hmm.
Guilty. That's a prison. This is criminal.
Hmm.
You can go to prison in March with a Manhattan state.
Hmm.
Fannie Willis is going to have something. Jack Smith
And
is probably going to have two or three more.
his
You
name's
don't have
going to
to.
be
You
all
don't have to
over.
worry about Eileen Cannon.
Right. And his name's all over Michigan fake electors, Wisconsin fake electors, which is happening in your state, thank God. I always
Yeah.
thought people in Wisconsin were lovely. Do some more. And Georgia. Georgia's going to be racketeering against a whole bunch of them.
Yes, it's gonna. Georgia's going to be huge. So speaking of Georgia, someone asked that question. Might as well go there.
Hmm.
Linda, RICO. See if we get the sense of what's going on. Yeah. All the signs point to the first week of August.
Oh, that's going to be fun. And August is usually like a no news month in politics. That's when everybody goes home and talks to their constituents or don't talk to their wives or whatever it is that they do. Um, and it's really going to be interesting.
No, Dad, that would be awesome if Ron Johnson gets locked up in those fake electors at least.
He's one of the ones. No, he's one of the ones I saw that they're going to go after out of D.C. for what happened on the
I hope
6th.
so. Okay. Fannie Willis's thing. It feels about like 16 people getting indicted to me.
Out of the Congress?
No, I'm talking about Georgia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say no. In Congress, it's like 32 to 38.
I was just closing my eyes and asking for a number.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like it's over 20.
No. Yes, they balanced it. They've looked at everything very carefully. It's been hard. I mean, there's been things that have been thrown up in front of her that have stopped her, but she's done it. She's been the magician. She's managed to manifest it. And she's got the whole structure they were doing all this stuff with, and she's got them with the goods. She's got them with what they took. So
Good. Okay. Yeah, I got a couple pages next to the hermit, kind of in the past position. But that just is saying these are all new coming. So I would say these are new indictments coming soon.
yeah, I've got to go get other decks. My desk is not set up.
Page is new. People flipping. She got a couple of people to flip there with the pages.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of information. So I got the Sword of Truth, the 10 of coins, a lot of information, and then my 3-4 of coins is the indictment card.
Mm-hmm.
Coming down, and a lot of them. Oddly enough, I have the Hierophant, Justice, and the Chariot in the final 3.
Whoa. That's when you're talking about courts and doing it.
That's bigly. And it does feel like it is a RICO because that's more involved. When you're talking like the Hierophant, this is the way things are supposed to be. Traditions, it's big, it's wide ranging with the Chariot.
It's the whole power structure.
Yeah, that's a pretty big 3 there in the end. Yeah, she's bringing a lot. It kind of feels like, Jack is doing that too. Oh, it's racketeering, coordination. I can't remember what RICO stands for either.
No, it's I don't remember. But
I've heard it numerous times, but it's it's an 2 or more people doing corrupt things. We love bigly, yes.
There's 3 people have to be involved in it's RICO. It's something about enterprises. They have to have an enterprise, which means whatever they're all conspiring to do. And the C is for conspiracy. You have a big dog in your house?
Yeah, we got a dog.
Okay. Maybe your dog knows the answer it's trying to tell us.
A stranger was at the door.
Racketeered Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. That's what it means, RICO.
Okay.
It's a way to extend the penalties on a civil case.
Okay. Mimi's asking about the electors in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So they indicted what, 16?
Yeah.
I seen a brief clip. One of them put out an announcement or something that she's upset that they were duped.
Oh no!
You know,
Listen, okay, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. They can say they were duped all they want, but all those people that get into seats of being to the position of being electors, they work in politics like I do. They may be not in paid positions, but they know how these things work. They understand the mechanics of what they're doing. So if any of these people are going to sit there and say they're duped, they weren't. There was no reason for them to. Or your party is really effed up because these people don't even know the first part of the mechanics of what their party does. So somebody's going to put on her best pair of false eyelashes and bat them and say, "Oh, I just didn't understand." Don't believe it. It's a pile of crap.
I'm sure some of them, but according to what this lady was saying, that she was told to come to this place. They needed
Mm-hmm.
an emergency meeting and supposedly didn't explain everything that was going on, and she signed her name to a blank piece of paper. So that's what
Well,
she.
that's first thing you don't do.
So let's just see if she's telling the truth.
I've already laid it out, and I'm using my kitten cards. And this is the Ace of Wands. The kitten's pawing at a rattlesnake. I don't understand what makes that the Ace of Wands, but that means that she was communicated with. She was sort of pressured by her friends to show up and do it. Um, but at the end of the day, she knew that she was giving up her own control. And she did it because it made her feel like she was out in the sun and she was with her friends doing their stuff. And she just doesn't want to pay the price. She doesn't want the reverse Knight of Pentacles. No.
Yeah. So Laura seen the interview.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since she's indicted, she can, you know, bring her own case now and get a lesser, or
Mm-hmm.
instead of going on air and um I don't believe her.
You should.
I don't believe her. Knight of Cups, like you said, Ace of Swords, and Burden. Now they got caught, and now they're flipping out.
She'd have been all dressed up in her best dress at the inaugural ball. Like, I knew this all along. And look at our. I mean, no.
So then the evidence is strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got arrested. Here's a tower again with a 10 of coins. It's, to me, it's talking about all the evidence is strong. And here's,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna lose her case. She's losing what she's facing. There is, I had 2 pages in the end, and the fighting in between with that 5 of Swords in the party and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe a whistleblower coming out and some new actions here because of what she's saying. So there might be
Mm-hmm.
more investigating, or, but there is some talk. Basically, I think this is her speaking with a page to try to save her case, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But there may be new information that after the indictment, but I don't see it going anywhere.
No.
Not with these.
And besides, isn't there a certain about if you ignorance of the law doesn't mean you can do it? Because you didn't understand is not a great defense. So trust me, I
Oh,
wouldn't. I
Some
wouldn't have any
people's
sympathy
children.
for a Democrat that did something that stupid.
Some people's children. Let's see if we can get to that, Linda.
Which one?
Oh, Rand Paul's office was on fire.
Really, or just because Satan showed up and
Probably
tried to take
Satan. Probably Satan showed up. Okay. The horrid person she is.
Oh yeah, I've already thought about this one.
Yeah. So there's already been Hunter's lawyer already contacted ethics or I seen someone on TikTok that I follow. She's a great Democratic person.
Hmm.
She wrote a letter to the House ethics.
Yeah,
People have called the secrets, not the secret service, Capitol Police.
and for anybody who really wants to spend 15 minutes doing something positive, the more letters that pour in from all over the country, the harder it is for them to ignore not charging her or not looking at it. And and if you send it to them, if you have a sympathetic House member or senator near you, send double it. Send it to that committee and to whomever might carry it forward, because that's how they put pressure on them. I know I saw the same posting you did. It was very well put together.
Well, can't fix stupid, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Ooh. Oh my. Okay. She thought she'd get away with it without any problem. That's the Three of Swords reversed. And actually, she was just completely out of balance. Of course, what's new with that? She went in to cause as much pain and as much fighting as she possibly could. Six of Swords. Look what it's bringing to her: death. And her out is she's not going to be in charge anymore. She may be kicked off the committee.
I know, right, Karen? She is a walking indictment.
Well,
Oh,
between her and Lauren Boebert, and if their combined IQ of 18, it's amazing they've gotten this far.
um, Christine asked what the OCE is. I think it's the Office of
Ethics.
Ethics or something.
Mm-hmm. OCE,
Yeah.
Office of Committee Ethics, I think.
Okay.
You go read the cards. I'll go look up OCE.
Karma's finally going to start hitting that woman as far as this situation. So I got the sun, the sun, the ten of coins again, and then my heartbreak karma card. So things are going to finally start hitting her. Then I have the Knight of Cups again. Some more news coming in quickly, and the Queen of Cups. Kind of a strange set of cards, but they come in for a reason
Mm-hmm.
because they're not, showing like negativity or boom, boom, boom. So we got a proposal here. To me, it feels like the way you're supposed to do things. So behind the scenes, you might get a proposal of maybe moving on or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird throat. Again, in the end, I have the Wheel of Fortune. So her karma's changing, a transition, and the Sword of Truth. Actions coming upon her. And so something's going to happen. Her
Mm-hmm.
karma's going to change. And she's going to start having dark times. There's going to be repercussions. So I'm not getting a cage out of this.
Mm-hmm.
There is going to be a change. I'm not getting whether it's expulsion or to me, it feels like this isn't the situation that hit her hard. I think she's involved in J6 is going to hit her
Mm-hmm.
before this committee is, everything like that. Because we know McCarthy's not going to stand up and do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So to go through ethics, to me, it feels like this is part of her downfall.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she gets indicted for J6.
Well, I looked it up. It's called the Office of Congressional Ethics, which almost sounds like what's that when like jumbo shrimp, Anyway, but there, if you Google it, it will take you to a citizen guide and how to report. So you can write a report saying you didn't like someone sending out naked pictures of grown men on your dime while they were part of Congress, which is that was her real mistake was distributing that. First of all, holding it up being that stupid. I mean, but stupid we already knew, but sending that out, for the party of family values, sending it so any of your little kids could be walking by when it pops up on your computer and they see some guy in that position.
Her
Hate to say,
downfall has already been started. She
yeah.
gets kicked off the Freedom Caucus. Now she does this stunt.
Well, some people said they thought she had talked about doing it. And they kind of said, no, don't do that. But the reason she did it was because Lauren Boebert had gotten more press than she had the day before for despicably taking off the green tennis shoe and throwing it in the trash. And this is like the mean girls in your high school that you didn't want to get between.
Good Lord. Good Lord, these people. Kushner Mansion buying up properties
For the Saudis.
for the Saudis. So you mean in the States, Nanette?
I think she means in the States. Because you, as a foreign national, you have to declare, who you are. That
Right.
happened after the Japanese came in the 70s and bought up all that real estate in New York that they ended up giving back because they couldn't keep it. But if you buy properties for a foreign national and don't disclose that they're the actual owners and where the money comes from, and then people find out, that can invalidate the sale. Because remember, there's that whole big furor about China buying up all the farmland
Right.
around y'all. Okay. It's the same thing, and it's to stop foreign countries from getting large control. And I don't know about Manchin. I think that's who they mean. Uh, and his connection to them for money. I always thought he was
Steve
owned by the Colts.
Mnuchin. Steve
Mnuchin.
Mnuchin.
Oh, okay.
The
Yeah,
ex-treasurer.
I do know about Mnuchin doing things. Now they can invest, but they can't physically control or own, and don't. There's a subtlety in there, since I'm lucky when I even owned a house, right? Much less worrying about being an investor in other properties. But there's a lot. We started putting a lot more controls on after what happened in the 70s, and we started getting paranoid about people owning it. It's like in England, they don't have those kind of laws, and a lot of London is now owned by uh, Middle Eastern interests that make the Brits not particularly happy.
Buying properties. Weird.
Ooh, yes, they are.
I lumped them together and it's kind of, you got a weird feeling.
I got a yes, 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 yes. What you got? Yours is mixed.
Well, I got some aces, which are yeses, but I was kind of feeling like, well, it feels more like land than property. I got the Queen of Coins, but I'm just, ugh. I got a lot of travel cards with these two. Obviously, it's Saudi,
Mm-hmm.
some kind of creative deal.
Mm-hmm.
Being United and Knight of Cups is travel over water, but it's a creative deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the sense it could be something to some kind of bigger deal or some kind of money laundering kind of operation.
Well, that's how they get them for buying property in the wrong name. It's money laundering. You're not
Right.
saying who's really in charge of the money.
It very well could be something like what's going on in Arizona, with the land and the water rights, that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Because I got the Knight of Coins, which is a long-term deal,
Mm-hmm.
and it involves money. But I have the Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords. So those are yeses, but it's also about abundance. It could very well be more cropland kind of thing. And then the Queen of Coins in the end. Um, any kind of deals, they're being investigated.
Mm-hmm.
I think it will come out whatever they're doing with the Saudis because
Mm-hmm.
they're looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
Queen of Coins, King of Swords, and my Strength card. So they're both getting looked at.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of busy right now with other stuff, but it's part of the deal. But I just didn't get anything definite that I'm seeing that's, whether it's true money laundering, where it feels more land like, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't feel like it was to enrich those two. It's obviously a plan. You just don't give money to people like that.
It means no one ran up to your truck and gave you $2 billion this week? I'm
No,
shocked.
no. So there's a bigger influence there,
Mm-hmm.
and like I said, it feels like it's connected to what they're doing in Arizona, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I used my kitty deck, and the first thing was they thought they were away clean. They thought they were reverse Knight of Swords, that no one was going to catch them. But then you kind of have to look at the face of these cats. This is the Knight of Swords. Yeah, they went ahead and they're moving forward to do it. But this is a cat face you need to look at if you can see it. That's a Five of Swords. That's not a happy cat. That's where they are right now. They're trying desperately to protect what they've done. And there's a part of them that thinks they've gotten away with it. But at the end of the day, and this is a really interesting image, it's the Ten of Wands. And that's the card in the traditional deck where the guy's throwing the wands down, I'm done with it. Well, this cat better hope that snake's really dead.
Good point.
The way I see it is they think they've gotten away with something, and I don't think they have.
Yeah, I don't think they have either. It's so corrupt. So corrupt. It's hard to find news on what the wealth fund is doing that Kushner's in charge of. A while ago, I did read that the Kushner fund is losing money.
Now there's a surprise.
So, but it's hard to find information on what's actually going on in that fund.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was ongoing for quite a while, I guess. When I read it, there was back and forth, and they wanted to throw it out, and a lot of lawyer hearings, and finally the judge said, "Nope, you're going to trial."
Mm-hmm.
They got it. They try to get everything thrown out. Oh, we're just doing the right thing, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
good thing it happened in Madison and not some small town.
Well, no, it would go to your Supreme Court in the state, and you've got that is reasonably fair.
Right. No, I mean, since it was Madison, Madison's a blue.
Oh, I know.
In the capital, and that's where the fake elector thing was
happened. That's where they signed the paperwork. That's where it happened.
Instead of being in a redder state, maybe up north or something, let's say Green Bay, possibly, whatever. So it's a liberal Madison judge.
You mean the Wisconsin equivalent of redneck East Texas?
Yeah, there are places like that.
I'm sure there are. It says yes and no. I don't think they're going to convict all of them, but it shows that they put up their fight. They can't go any further. They're trying to figure out how to not be separated from their loved ones. I think they're going to turn on each other. I think that's what's going to finally happen. This is the Nine of Wands. They're going into it. These people did not expect to get caught. But their outcome is the Seven of Wands, where they finally sort of mount a defense. But at the end, they get justice. So that would tell me they'll be convicted.
Well, has the GOP ever done anything smart?
Not recently.
Passing laws before even checking if it would even pass the Constitution test.
I read an article. I read an article today where they convicted a 45-year-old mother, and her 19-year-old daughter, and the daughter either had an abortion or miscarried or did something at 28 weeks, and they got rid of the body themselves because because of laws in the state they're in. It's in Nebraska. Yeah. And they're convicting the 19-year-old to go to jail over this. And they convicted her mother for participating and being helpful or something. Anyway, a friend of mine who works in maternal health care, she said they were trying to get a legal fund together to help the family fight it and not have to go to jail over it until, while they appeal. But to me, that's just horrendous. This poor girl has been through one of the most horrifying things you can go through in your life.
Yeah.
Still going to drag her around. But then people say, we need to let these guys go because they were conscious standing there adults and signing blank pieces of paper. Really?
Yeah. That story is a little weird there in Nebraska. Because when it first came out, the reporting was, she got arrested for the new law and taking the pill for an abortion. Well, like you said,
she couldn't take that. Those pills won't work at 28 weeks.
Right. But since I guess it's because at that point it would be viable. Is that what it was?
No, it's because it's outside their 6-week ban.
I guess it had nothing to do with that because it's getting rid of the body. It's
against the law to get rid of human tissue. It's kind of like burying a body illegally. Yeah. But they used to say that until children could breathe on their own, they didn't fall into that because, trust me, I used to work in a lab where we got everything that came out of operating rooms, and sometimes it was fetal tissue that had not been viable, and it would go in the place where we kept it, and then it would go to the big incinerator, unless the family wanted whatever was left. Most people didn't, but
yeah, there's a little misinformation on that original story, so it's a little more in depth than what's been reported. But like you said, nothing ever happens to the donor, the male donor.
I could think of several things, mostly involving knives that could happen to the donor, but
Yeah, good point.
snip,
Um,
snip.
I think, yeah, they're all going to be convicted. I think I got Lady Justice, Knight of Cups, what's was supposed to be right, and then they did it to themselves. There's
Hmm.
imprisonment. Then I got them in a tower. Queen of
Hmm.
Coins, some kind of funding coming in, drastic changes. The Chariot, it's going to move forward. And then I have there's probably going to be some infighting and, like you said, flipping or trying to work deals, whatever. Because I got the Five of Swords; they're all fighting amongst each other. What they did,
Hmm.
Ace of Cups, trying to get deals. So they're all going to be turning on each other, like you said. But I see them convicted here with a Tower and the Eight of Swords, Chariot. It looks
Hmm.
like a conviction to me. Thank you, Deanne.
Thank you.
Blessings. Ugh, I hate that man, Ron Johnson. He's just horrible. Okay, Deanne had something about are other countries helping American democracy that we don't know of, or are they just
Const-
like, or are they just worried about us?
no, they're constantly. I mean, Angelo, where are you? I know you're in the chat somewhere. Um, they're trying to help us track down the the network of bad actors that goes across
Yeah, I guess the
Europe.
only way, we got the Five Eyes,
Hmm.
the five countries that spy together.
Hmm. Or they used to until Doofus got himself in the mix.
Good point. Hey, Joe G.
I'm just going to ask flat out if there's other people trying to help the American intelligence where it stands now, which would be with American democracy. Look, Italy tried to help when Barr and his Durham went over. They said, "No, we don't have anything on Biden, but we have this information about Trump. Do you want that?"
Oh no, we didn't come for that. Yeah, right. What a joke. Millions of dollars for nothing for Durham. Millions of
Well,
dollars to investigate Hunter Biden
and all we got was a bad congressional hearing with dick pics.
and a plea deal.
Hmm. On a thing no one else would have been tried for.
Insurrection hunters. Okay. Governmental institutions coming in first.
What?
The Hierophant. The
Oh,
Hierophant,
okay.
first card.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't think the spying network has ever stopped
Mm-mm.
that kind of thing. So I got the Hermit, um, the Hierophant, and the Wheel of Fortune.
Mm-hmm.
The spying network never stopped. The intelligence agency, no matter what the Trump administration did, I think it was always still there because he doesn't actually control those.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always sense like the FBI and whatnot did the best they could without Barr and
Mm-hmm.
45 knowing what's going on. Um, Protect and serve. There is something new coming up with the Page of Swords. Some intelligence. Queen of Wands leadership. And then Magician, the Four of Wands, and Six of Cups. Kind of the same thing. It just feels like they always are working together, bringing back agencies and doing things that we never will know.
Right. That's the
So
idea of it being spies. We don't know about it,
we
right?
don't know about it. So protecting everyone the best they can.
Right. What I see is they began to understand their information was being compromised. That's reverse. So they pulled back, and they gave us a bunch of stuff that was, they looked like they were giving us what we needed, but they were making sure Trump didn't get it. But as soon as he was gone, there was quick communications trying to straighten it all out, finding a way to find temperance. And then there was the Knight of Cups. Now, the Knight of Cups can often be a person bringing you messages that's romantic or delusional or not as straightforward as you'd like. But that's how most spies work anyway. I mean, they tell you what they think you need to know, but they also just sort of talk to each other from from governments to governments. That's how they ended up. The guy who ended up, the Brit that put together the report, that what Mueller went after that about the Russians helping Trump, that report was he was originally engaged by Republicans to dig up dirt on Trump when he started to run in 2015. And when they wrote back, they kind of went back and said, "Well, stop doing it because we don't care anymore," because they realized he was going to win anyway. That's when he got approached by the Democrats. What do you have on him? And most people don't realize that Republicans shot themselves in the foot. There never would have been a Russian investigation if they hadn't started it.
Okay. The seaweed mast, Mary, it's supposedly breaking up, maybe because of the heat. So it isn't going to be as bad as they thought.
Maybe it has good taste. Maybe it has good taste, and it doesn't want to go near DeSantis either.
I guess they hit the Caribbean the worst in some of their shores. So the Florida area hasn't been hit as bad. Because there was just an article, because I was curious and I read about it a week or two ago. And the scientists don't really understand why it's breaking up. They're expecting the worst, and it's either breaking up or maybe it's because of the heat and falling to the ocean floor. Let's look at Rojo quick.
Oh, good.
How bad? How bad is Rojo?
Or do you want to ask if he's going to be in deep doo-doo?
Let's ask if he's going to be in deep doo-doo.
Okay.
We need that. It still makes no sense how Wisconsin voted in Tony Evers as the governor again with 100, 200,000 cushion over the right winger, but they voted in. It's like a 200,000 to 300,000 swing of votes for Evers, but not for the Democratic senator who was Evers' lieutenant governor and voted in Ron Johnson. It makes no sense.
No.
How there's 200,000 people that thought, oh, Ron Johnson should be senator, but we need Evers.
Oh, poor Ron. He got mentally stuck away in the past, but he's always managed to persevere and get through things. But then we get to, is he going to be in deep doo-doo? Yes, the Empress. He's surrounded by it. Yes, the Four of Cups. He's going to be offered ways to get out of this. He's not going to accept them. So guess what he gets? I guess that's deep doo-doo.
Oh, good. Hello, Justice, my old friend. Oh, I got the devil. Anxiety. I didn't get justice, but I do have a death card.
It's a change.
I have this Queen of Swords, Lady Justice, coming upon her. I don't think he'll be indicted or anything right away because I have the Temperance next to the Queen of Swords. But the Knight of Wands is a quick energy, but it's surrounded by Temperance too. So, I mean, I never sensed that Smith would be hitting the senators and whatnot involved in J6 at first. But I do have the corrupt dealings with others, with the Three of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. Fake electors.
Mm-hmm.
Nine of Pentacles, fake electors. The corrupt dealings.
Mm-hmm.
Assisting with that. I do have my J6 card also. People have turned on him with the star.
Mm-hmm.
He does have anxiety all about.
Oh, I like that Nine of Swords. That's a good one.
Yeah. He has anxieties about what's going on. And then I have a death card. So there's an ending to him. The Four of Swords. Five of Swords is my J6 card.
Mm-hmm.
And he may have some knowledge of the funding of the insurrection with the Six of Pentacles.
I'm sure he does.
So yeah, I got a death card for Ron Johnson.
Wasn't one of the women who was leading that had that date to have their meeting out in D.C. that was part of that Republican Women's for Whatever? Wasn't one of the leaders of that from Wisconsin?
I think so. Yeah.
So that may be how he knows about the funding of how they got from here to there.
Who knows? Maybe maybe he's not reporting that. Maybe he's close with Ginny Thomas. Who knows?
Mm.
Yeah, I can't remember that group. I know they're like on the tip of my tongue, but I know who you're talking about. Those. Yeah, they were trying to set up, to get that area that they were having
Right. The eclipse where they had the thing. Yeah.
eclipse. They were trying to get the funding and secure the area. Yeah. Wisconsin is not understandable. What's that mean?
I think there's no rationale to electing a Democratic governor
Oh
and
God.
then having it flip so much the other direction. Trust me,
Yeah.
there's a lot of inexplicable things in Wisconsin and Texas and most states actually when you get down to it.
I mean, it could be people just look. There could be a lot of people that just said, "Oh, that's the incumbent," because they always have the I next to the incumbent.
Mm-hmm.
Could be people
Was
just.
he first on the ballot? When you looked at the ballot, was
I
his
don't
name
remember.
first? Because
I don't
that's
remember.
good. That's good for just irrationally 5 to 10% of your vote if you're first on the ballot. Even
True.
if you're a scumbag.
Yeah. Like I said, there could be a lot of people who just vote incumbent. Oh, he was voted before. I'm just here to vote. No, Evers was there. He must be good.
Or they were so burnt with Scott Walker, they're careful about who they put in as governor, but they don't care what happens to the rest of us with your senator. But at least you got a good governor.
Yeah, thank God. We don't have the two-term and done, so he's thinking about running for a third term.
Oh, good. Well, see, Abbott should have been out. This is his third term because he replaced the governor before him that went to D.C. and then left in disgrace and now hides in the woods. And then, so Abbott filled in most of his term, and then Abbott's now had 2 terms. And there are people who said he shouldn't have run the last time because he's already really had 2 terms. But I think he's out now. Did they cheat?
I don't think they cheated in Wisconsin. Our elections are pretty secure.
You had that one county, though, where the woman kept finding votes under her desk for years.
Yeah, I mean, they could do that. But as far as if you do the normal process.
Yeah, no, you're a pretty honest place.
It's pretty honest, but, besides the gerrymandering and the normal black vote suppression. But 45 would have won if the Supreme Court didn't, because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, they were trying to blank out your mail-in ballots, weren't
yeah, that and the drop box. They were trying to get rid of that.
they? Mm-hmm.
But the court said no, that was legal because of coronavirus to keep people safe. So,
Mm-hmm.
but if they would have thrown all those ballots out that were mailed in or drop boxed, yeah, it would have been a big different story.
Well, Trump wouldn't have won Texas if they hadn't eliminated 250,000 people off the rolls in Houston right before the election.
Yep.
Because he didn't win by a whole bunch. He won by like less than 8,000.
Okay. Linda wants a Putin update.
Mm. Let's see.
God, that whole thing and story is just really weird. Now there's rumors that the Kremlin's moving nukes to Belarus.
Belarus, yeah.
Yeah, Belarus. They want to start a war with Poland now or something. Yep,
We're not
I
going to
don't
go
know.
near Poland. Poland's in NATO.
Yeah, I know. That's
Poor
why I
old
think that. I'm
Poland.
like, what? No,
Poland takes it on the chin.
you would not touch Poland.
Well,
Well,
mining the port of Odessa in the Black Sea, what they're actually doing is a lot of the mines are drifting out into where it affects countries that are NATO countries. You know, Putin he's in his last gasp. But let's see what's going on with Putin today, or who we call Putin, the person we call Putin, because I still don't think it's him. That's my personal conspiracy theory for life. It's not him. Ooh. Okay. You ready to go? You want me to go?
I'm still tossing.
Okay. You got the Two of Cups. He thought he had everything worked out.
I got
He's
two
got
cups
the
too.
he's got the Three of Wands reversed. He doesn't. Right now, he's at the Ten of Cups. He thinks he's deluding himself into thinking he's in a good place, but his two out cards are the reversed Princess of Swords, which is the Knight of Swords. He's not being able to move. But the biggest problem for him is he's got the devil on his tail, but it's reversed. So it's like today not going to happen, but that's a lot of anxiety. He's figuring out he's totally blocked in. He can't move. But he thinks he's okay.
Yeah, the devil too. I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to decipher what this means because there's a whole lot more than.
Well, I'm going to ask one more question that I saw when I was in the reading about who's out to get him. Are they out to get him?
Movement. Six of Swords, Devil, and Two of Wands starts out.
Mm-hmm.
The troubles are not. I would just say that means the troubles are not subsiding.
No.
You know, the journey's not. It's not going his way. What he tried to do in Ukraine, it's not going his way. So I had the Two of Cups also,
Mm-hmm.
with the Page of Cups and the Six of Wands. So incoming news. That feels like offers to basically end this thing. But will the Kremlin? No. There's positivity actually coming in here. Ace of Swords, Six of Cups, Eight of Wands.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have. There's a victory there with the Ace of Swords. It can be a victory.
Mm-hmm. I got that one too.
Hollow victory. happy house, and then some kind of situation coming to a close here with the Eight of Wands coming in
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
Something's happening quick. In the end, I have the Moon. There might be some secret dealings. The Moon's Strength card, High Priestess, and King of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Emotions, strength. There's a lot of secrecy going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no matter what we see going on
Oh, yeah.
with the war, there's a lot of secrecy going on that could end this thing.
That's what I got.
But strength is on their side. The High Priestess is all about, you know, making deals,
Mm-hmm.
powerful secrets revealed. King of Pentacles is someone of honor. It's a deal maker too. So I think there's deals working on how to actually end this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I don't.
What I asked was, will Putin be in charge in the next month? I got the High Priestess reversed. The secrets are going to come out. Somebody's going to be unloaded of the burden they've been carrying. The only yes in this is right now the sword of justice or the sword of people seeing clearly. I don't know how much justice you can ever find in Russia at this point. And then we got a no, and it's the Three of Pentacles. So whatever alliances he's had running are no longer working, and he's no longer in charge of the government. You got the Hierophant reversed. So I think it's his own side is coming for him within his country. And that's what I always saw when Prigozhin moved in and moved his people back. I always felt like there was a whole lot of cells of people all over Russia ready to rise up. And I think the oligarchs would have put Putin in the position of being the fall guy. But I think that they're dealing with people outside, including Prigozhin.
Yeah, really strange deal that he's
It's
not with Prigozhin.
Yeah, I mean that's not how you deal with those kind of people. If you want to survive, you get rid of them, which means that Prigozhin had enough power over him.
Enough power and leverage
Hmm.
that
That
he
was
didn't
what, three
think
weeks
he would
ago.
find a window
Was that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago?
of what
What
that all
that
happened.
Prigozhin rolled in?
It's the 20th, a little over 3, almost a month,
Hmm.
coming up a month in a few days
Hmm.
already. Mutiny against the Kremlin. Not military. I think it's like we said. I think it like with the high priestess there. That feels like
Hmm.
internal.
It's the people behind the throne that have been holding him up.
Oh, I mean, we don't need to talk about it again. But I believe he's dead. I think it's.
I think it's his double. They just found a better body double than the one for the guy
I
in
think
North
it's
Korea.
the whole Kremlin structure. You know, Lavrov and Dmitriev or whatever his name is. You know, the number two or whatever. They're just playing a ruse. I think everything's a ruse because you just don't go from being very sick and
And he looked weak. He
being
looked frail and
in
sitting in the
20
other end of the room from everybody else to sitting
yeah
close to people
in
again.
April, what was it, April or May of 2022,
Hmm.
to strutting around, and and they're basically hiding him all the time. He doesn't go to, now that there's a warrant out for his arrest, he doesn't go anywhere.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think he's a double. Yeah, right, Jeff. Dmitry Meldev or whatever. They see the writing on the wall. I can't believe they're still hurting people. They got to keep up power. I think they're going to try to work a deal at some point here soon. Okay, your favorite guy.
Oh,
Teddy.
Yeah, well, we're going to do this. We're going to use Life is Like a Board Game for Teddy because that's the best I'll do about him.
I don't think there's any pardons anymore. Good point, Deanne. Either way you look at it, Putin is dead. He has no. Teddy Cruz. Teddy Cruz. And knock on table. My computer has not beeped in in a few weeks now. I don't know what happened.
Very good.
I didn't do anything except I replaced memory boards, but that was it.
No.
And installed your doohickey thing that's supposed to clear it up, but
It did until you replaced the memory board. So I blame the memory boards.
all right, we'll go with that.
I got a yes and a no. I think he was given assurances about certain things are going to be handled certain ways.
Teddy
But
Cruz.
I think at the end is the most important one. It's the 10 of Wands. He's going to fold when it comes to the end of it and try to strike a deal to get less time by not serving in public office anymore.
Yeah, there is a deal already.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deal already.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have what he's done in the past. He's talked to leadership, Jack Smith,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Ace of Wands is positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
Secrets. Secrets of the moon that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Flipping card talking about, and there was a lot of anxiety about all this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have King of Wands, Page of Wands, and transitioning. So he'd be going through some dark times, but he could be moving elsewhere with a transition. King of Wands could be intelligent deal. Whistleblower means he's talked. So he may have gotten a deal to this whole gig from what he did with J6. He's just a bad actor. But I'm not getting any justice for him. Just a movement and that he flipped.
Yeah, and that he's not going to be in power anymore. He's going to throw it all down and be done.
I sure hope so.
Get out with the skin.
Has he actually made an announcement that he's running again?
Yes. And my personal thought is if he doesn't have a pardon and they can't get him any other way, we should offer him the option to try to swim across the Rio Grande from our side, past the razor wire and the floaties.
Yeah. So my toss, I had no pentacles. So
I don't see him paying. I don't see him paying except for not being in power anymore. But
well,
tell you the truth, just to have him gone. And we have two. I love Colin Allred because I know him and I've met him and I think he's brilliant. But we don't have a bad choice so far in the Democratic primary. We have Gutierrez, who was he was the congressman for the people for the shooting at the school in South Texas, and he's really brilliant. He's very well spoken. So is Colin Allred. So no matter which one gets it, we're going to be in better shape. Of course, we could have, I can't even think of a person that would be worse than Cruz anyhow. So,
I mean, like, besides getting paid off or whatever,
mm-hmm.
Pentacles are substance to me. So that
Mm-hmm.
meaning a pardon.
Yeah. No, he has.
He's paperwork substance, and I didn't get any pentacles. But
no, I didn't see him thriving. I just saw him going away.
So I think he died of cancer, blood cancer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was assassinated.
I don't think he was assassinated, but I think he was given a hot shot at some point.
It could be. Yeah, because I kept seeing him. I kept trying to get in his energy last summer and thinking I kept seeing him on a table, like with an IV or something. Just deathly sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I'd never seen any, you know, gun or, you know, that kind of thing. But
You know what I saw was it was a woman's arm. It was in a white lab coat, but it was obviously a feminine hand, and it put a shot in him, and he just stopped. That was the end of the vision. So
bless
thank
you for
you.
the donation, personal transformation. I like that.
I like that too.
Um, do you know if Texas is redistricting?
Not yet. It's well, okay. Some of what they're trying to do, it's kind of a mess. But one of the things they did, Pat, that was going to happen, and the Supreme Court, it's that ruling that everybody was sort of surprised by, where the state cannot override uh, individual districts, you know, or entities that handle elections. Because we had a law go through our legislature, which they can't do now because of what the Supreme Court said. But the state could come in and they could take over any voting jurisdiction that had more than 2 million people registered there. There's only one in our state. It's Houston, which is called Harris County. In Texas, the counties run the elections, and they wanted to come in and take it over. They want to put their own little state troopers in charge of it. Houston 4 years ago elected 13 women judges in one swoop, all Democrats. And I think the county sheriff down there is a Democrat too. And I don't know how your state laws run, but in Texas, if you have a problem with an election, it goes through the sheriff. It doesn't go through the city, doesn't go through the state. It goes through the sheriff. And the sheriff is all, and their deputies are the ones that you call if there's a problem at a polling place. And so once Dallas and Houston, Austin, which is Travis County, and San Antonio, which is Bexar County, once those all went totally blue, um, the Republicans lost all control of the main voting centers. That's how it works here. But we only redistrict at the end of the census. So we've had a corrupt Republican legislature gerrymandering the crap out of things. There's a district in South Texas that it takes a whole day to drive from one end to the other. It's this long, skinny snake. I mean,
It's crazy.
yeah. So, and that's why we need it. Why we need everybody needs to get every Democrat they can in the House and in the Senate, so we can pass the laws that will stop that bizarre redistricting. And we won in New York. They've handed the New York redistricting back to the count through the board that the citizens voted for. Took it out of the hands of that Republican judge. So
Cornyn isn't up
no,
for
Cornyn is up. It's Cruz.
till 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sucked. I seen the other person winning against Cornyn. I think that was rigged too.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember that was the first time I ever got in the energy of hearing or feeling there was cheating going on. You know, as far as touchscreen
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was looking at everyone in the 2020 race,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "There's going to be cheating here in Texas."
Yeah, that's the last ballot they ran where they didn't have paper backup.
And so I was, whoever it wasn't it a woman that ran against him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was good.
I was like, she's supposed to win, but there's cheating going on, so I think Cornyn's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
That sucked. Oh, horrible, horrible, horrible.
It's tough to be in my state.
Yeah. Louisiana refuses to redistrict.
And they've been told to.
Yeah, Alabama's going to lose that fight.
Mm-hmm.
They're already getting sued.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not like you can come in and arrest the Alabama government. They'll be forced to redraw it again. Unfortunately, No, they won't redo the census. Oops.
No, they actually do. 5 years in, they redo an adjustment. And on this census, it's going to have more pull because the last census was done during COVID. I have friends who work for I've worked for the census at times as an enumerator. One of those people goes to your door and says, "Are you you?" Um, and they redid big chunks. They took census workers from Oklahoma, brought them into Texas, and took Texas ones and took them up to Oklahoma because there was so much of a mess and a corruption about how things were being counted. And it wasn't that they were counting for a political entity, the people just weren't doing their jobs. And so I had a friend that went up to Oklahoma and she spent 2 weeks up there and she found all these houses that this enumerator said were no longer there. And she also went looking for houses the enumerator said was there. And what they were doing is they were sitting in their car just filling out forms and handing them in. So there's whole chunks of it that it's very, very mixed up. So and a lot of them said it was they're writing it off to the COVID stuff. But yes, there will be a recount. I've worked in a mid census recount, and a lot of it's done the same way. If they go in and they find enough distortion in the figures, if their statisticians do, then they will go in and they'll just rerun that whole area and change it.
Wow.
Didn't know that, did you?
No.
Well, you know why? Businesses rely on the census and on how to do things. And as weird as this last census was, a bunch of businesses, I mean, it's not just we're not getting the public funds or whatever we should get. There's also people who've recorded people who've already lost their jobs and been fined for telling people, oh, there's no more people to count. Thank you, Linda. I love being with Andre too. He's cool. Not as much as Scott. Scott's my first really, but
Andre's a good guy.
he's a great guy. But really, they recorded them saying, "Oh, we don't have any more houses to count in Dallas County, but we could sure use you out in this red area out in East Texas." And so yeah, there's a whole people are looking at that census because look at who was running it, whose government was running it.
Yeah, we know it was all off, and it
Hmm.
was basically run to try to help the Republicans in the election, not for funding and what it's supposed to be used for.
Yeah, and like I said, actually, I did see him in a black and white shirt a few weeks ago. That's the first time I've ever seen that. I didn't think they'd get him, but I think it's that was before they were reporting the crap about throwing people back in the river into the barbed wire. I think that's what's going to finally do it. As I was telling Scott earlier, I have friends because I work in politics, both sides, and I have friends who are Republican who actually quit working on any Republican fundraising when he ran for governor 4 years ago. And one of them was telling me that more and more of the people who hung in there because they just couldn't let the Democrats have it have finally said enough. And he's going to try to lay it off on the foot soldiers he sent out to do it. But from what I hear on the border, they're not pushing them into the river anymore. And the DOJ now has officers down there making sure that's not happening. So,
It's just a sad state of the country when you got to have the federal government try to police states.
well, that's what they're supposed to do when it gets to be like this. But,
I
you
know,
know,
but it shouldn't be necessary if people actually care. Governors actually and care about their people like they're supposed to. Um, yeah, it's what I got for Abbott. The federal government,
hmm
federal government is looking at him hard. There's some legal battles there. Um, could be an order from the FBI director and whatnot there. Um, there seems to be some whistleblowers bringing the truth out here. This kind of shows like Abbott administration not doing what they're supposed to do as far as reporting, kind of like what the Satan is doing.
yep.
Um, he very well could be locked up. I got my locked up card there.
Well, they've already turned on their own. They're dumping on Paxton.
The
Thank
sun,
God.
the sun and the laws. So there is something coming up for him. This card is all about, it's, if you're talking about financing, it's holding on your money with, but it's also subpoenas, it's indictments, it's eventually getting locked up,
Mm-hmm.
working on the situations. But there's going to be clarity about what everything he's done and the way the laws are. But yeah, they're looking at the Satan too.
Well, Satan has a hurricane coming towards him in a state that he doesn't have anyone insured in. That's a real program for reelection and building a base.
So what you've seen, it is going to hit Florida coming soon.
That's one of the project. I mean, it's still out in the middle of the Atlantic, and God only knows because the Atlantic's so hot this year. Storms aren't going to move like the way they should.
Did
You
they?
want to ask about Tuberville?
Do you know what the name is of the
Don,
storm?
Don, Don.
Don. Don. Yeah. This one feels like it's going to be low. So
Mm-hmm.
like the bottom third. It's kind of like a Mar-a-Lago hit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bottom third of the state's going to get hit pretty hard.
That's what I got with my pendulum was yes on hitting. I hate storms, so it's hard for me to read them. I have no reason why. Probably a past life thing, and I should do my own past life reading and figure out why. But I really don't like them. Um, did you want to read on Tuberville or Tumorville, as I call him?
um,
It's 9:59.
I thought I starred one, but I don't see it.
The one I looked at was a start. That's why I asked.
9:59.
Yes,
That's a long time ago.
I know, but I
I'll
don't
just
read
do it.
as fast as you, and I sort of try to pay attention to what
Can,
we're doing on the
I think
script.
I did see it, but I don't know. Can someone just type in a comment about Tuberville or whatever so I can put that up? Georgia isn't as bad.
Okay. Georgia
Uh,
has insurance. I don't know.
People, oh heck!
Can we just ask it and not have it up on the screen?
Oh God, come on! Well, I like to have something up.
Okay. Tuberville, that's it.
Close enough.
Okay.
Oh, Linda did it for me. Thank you. Okay. Tuberville, racist. Horrible comments, holding up military.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just feels like he's going to get a kind of like getting a licking, and he's going to have to back down. Thank you, Giovanna. Blessing.
I don't get that he's going to do it on his own. I don't think he's going to do it till he knows they're coming for him.
Downgraded, will not hit land, turning north. This orchid thinks it's going to turn north. I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. I just saw that it got declared to be a full. It's got enough wind. It's a hurricane. It's out there in the middle of the Atlantic. The middle of the Atlantic is a long way from where I live, so.
Or maybe it's another one coming, but I was being shown bottom third of the state getting hit hard by some hurricane.
Maybe it's just God's wrath.
Could be.
So what we always get blamed. That's why they said they had the big hurricane in New Orleans because there was such a open lifestyle down there. But Tommy Tuberville, I do not see him backing down because this is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. That means it's a very stubborn, non-thinking person, and they don't care what they're disrupting or hurting. And they know they don't care what you say to them because they just don't hear it. But I see that someone's coming to talk to him, the Page of Pentacles, someone bringing values, but it's not going to change his point of view on it. Now, let me see if my other hit on Tommy Tuberville. Will this change when he goes down for J6? So.
That could be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do have him sticking to his guns and being foolish. The Page of Cups, Knight of Cups, Hermit. The Hermit's also the Fool, but it's being pig-headed too.
Mm-hmm.
He's being given offers and to stop this nonsense, but he's holding on tight yet. Knight of Coins, Knight of Wands, and a Four of Coins, which feels like he's holding on to his values there, or whatever. So it's like the honor isn't moving forward, but that Knight of Wands is energy pushing him the other way.
Oh, wow.
A huge loss here coming up. It ain't going to really matter because he's going to have an old crap moment.
Mm-hmm.
Magician, Wheel of Fortune, changing his karma, but he's going to be going through some things. His struggle is going to change.
Now, I asked, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
I asked if he was working for the Russians, and I got the Knight of Swords at the base, but then I got 3 no's, but that it's someone near him. So I think there's someone in his office that's feeding him this crap to keep him going that's working with the Russians. But then when I got, is he going to stop when J6 happens? And this shows him being the Queen of Wands, but reversed. And then he's going to quit fighting. And then it's when really becomes known how wound up he was with J6, that it's a party place, and they're going to come in with strength and stop him. And that'll open up the floodgates.
Craig asked, who's more stupid and stubborn, Tuberville or Gozar?
Gozart's mentally ill. Tuberville, I told you about Tuberville last week, didn't I? I have a friend whose daughter went to Texas Tech, which is way, way in West Texas. You are not going to find a more conservative state campus in many ways than Texas Tech. And Tuberville was there 2 years as a football coach when her daughter was there. And her daughter told her the other day, and her daughter's like in her mid-30s now, that Tuberville got fired because he was such a racist. Now, to get fired from Texas Tech, you got to work at it.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
You
know? Okay, last one here.
Mm-hmm.
We're already at 1:40.
Okay.
Look at Chuck Grassley.
Oh.
He keeps saying that whatever information proves that Biden took money.
Well, they just have to try and prove something because they know they're in so much trouble.
Lev Parnas and others have tweeted at him and said, "You're lying, Chuck. There's nothing there," but he keeps putting it out to his crazy powers.
Do you think the red in the hats of the MAGA hats sucks their brains out?
Well, Chuck was wearing a John Deere green hat, so maybe the money from John Deere is keeping him tight. Who knows? Chuck.
Ooh. Chuck, you should not have done that. You got the Hierophant reversed, which meant even people who follow him was totally unverified, and they keep hearing that. Democrats need to scream that a lot more. But he still is not going to back down. He doesn't care how much grief and sorrow it costs. But what I asked was if he's going to pay for this. And I got the strength. That's yes. The devil, which is underhanded bad things. And then he's got Independence Avenue. Someone, it's going to come at him in a way he's not expecting. It was a bad move, Chuck.
Chucky. I'm not sure what this means, but he has some protection around him.
Well, he says it as his role as a senator. That's how they hide it.
Yeah. He's delusional. I think he may be a little off kilter up there with the 7 of Cups.
Yeah.
He is just pitching Russian talking points.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think they're being fed to him. I don't think the Russians talk to him directly. I think there's someone in his office that's feeding him this crap.
Yeah, I do have a page of swords. Here's a younger person, could be Bergen, but he's not all there. But I don't think he's very healthy. Feels like his angels are coming, talking to him. He's very. This is my deathly ill card.
Mm-hmm.
There's his angels surrounding him, and then a magician. He could be doing, taking a lot of meds. The magician could be a doctor working with him. Keep him straight. Knight of Cup, but there's some kind of issues going on with him being in the government. I do have some proposals going on with the Hierophant. Could be angelic, but it feels more like his role. And then that 5 of Wands is a lack of energy and confused. So it's not really like feeling like death, but doesn't feel like he's totally on board with his sanity.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get any J6 cards, but I do have a lot of illness coming up from him. He is an old fella. But yeah, I think you're right. He feels like he's being told what to say nowadays.
Yep. They rely on their staffs, and they've learned how to read from the little screen in front of them. It's not like they have to think.
They have. Yeah, that's true. They must have mobile. What do you call it? What do you call those screens?
Green screens. Oh, the prompters.
Prompters. They must have mobile prompters nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
He was outdoors in his John Deere hat, doing these lies.
Well,
okay. Thank you, Linda. So let's bring some inspiration. Teleprompter, yeah, thanks. Okay. Inspiration before we go.
Ah, yes. What you got coming up this week while you're inspiring us?
This Tuesday. I've been so busy at work. I canceled doing Thursdays for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just for Thursdays have been heck for me. 10, 12-hour days. And like no energy to read. So just Tuesday. And you got your normal Tuesday.
I've got my normal Tuesday. I'm working on my 9 candles. If everything goes right, I will have them all in the can by the 31st, and they will be all lined up. There's premieres, and then I will have 10 days running at 7 in the evening every evening. But I just have to sit through the premiere, and type into the chat if you want to see it. The 9 candles, I'm going to give them a little preview because they're here. This is what the table looks like. It's not too messy. I can do this. That's the candles, and you can see a bunch of them have been lit. I've got a few left to get. I'm doing 2 more of those readings today. And I also was live last week with Andre, which was very good. I got a lot of readings and a whole lot of people who'd never seen a grid before. So got a whole lot of grid folks, and that's going to be keeping me very busy. I'm booking into August now, and I never thought I'd live to the day that I'd be looking more than a month ahead. So, dude, what a wonderful thing to be.
Hmm.
Which deck did you pull?
Um. I, this one.
Oh,
The rainbow,
fairy.
the fairies
Mhm.
deck. Yeah. So I get the Prince of Winter, the Knight of Swords. The first.
Mhm.
It's kind of like the sight, quick energy that comes at you. That it's kind of like unexpected. So these
Mhm.
unexpected changes and that need impulsive decisions. It's always a good thing to just take a step back and have patience and don't worry because everything works out when you plan things out later. With the Seven of Coins, gradual improvements. Um, Three of Spring also come up. The Three of Wands. It's not. It's more about patience.
Mhm.
So I'm getting the reference of kind of feeling like we're an impatient society. We want things now. We'd rather not wait, but everything takes hard work, and then you actually have more satisfaction, than rather like hitting the lottery. Of course, it'd be great, but that's instant gratification. Well, then you got to deal with it, right? So you have greater satisfaction and learn when
Mhm.
you have that patience. So there you go.
Okay. I pulled the Scorpion, and the Scorpion's attributes are attacking from the rear, death and rebirth, transmutation of poison, reflecting the dark and negative energy back on its sender. Now, there's not a bunch of these folks we wouldn't do that for. The Scorpion may not be a warm fuzzy that you want to see in your life, but it shows up when cutting something or someone out of your life is timely and necessary. When we work on ourselves to heal and move forward on our spiritual path, we start to see wondrous changes. But this growth, we also see people, situations falling away from our lives. This is always needed. It may not feel like it, but when Scorpion shows up, trust that it's ultimately for your highest best. And I'm going to tell a story. I'm not going to give names so you won't know who it's about. But I was working with a woman and I did a grid for her, and she contacted me. She hadn't fired it up yet because she was finding out that a lot of she went out to lunch with someone. You know how you have friends and you see them every once in a while, and you're in the same groups, you do the same things. And she met her for lunch, and they had lunch. And at lunch, the woman said, "Well, I'm so glad that RFK Jr.'s in this, so I can have someone to vote for." And the
Well,
woman, yeah, that's what the and she said she tried to keep her mouth shut because she realized this was such a change for the temperament of this woman. Finally, they got outside and she said, "Well, you didn't commit to go do RFK things with me." And the woman said, "I'm going to tell you the truth. There's no way I could vote for that man. He's an idiot." And the woman she'd known for years and had had lunches with and was considered a civil friend slapped her so hard she fell on the ground.
wow.
And she said, because of where they were in a public space, police were called and stuff. So she's deciding about what to do about this woman. But when she and I had talked, when I'd done her reading around her grid, I told her she was going to be losing a lot of friends. And she said, "I found one I need to lose." And I told her she could call. I gave her my personal phone number. I said, "We can call and talk about this." That's the most start. But I've heard so many people that are losing friends, or people are just going away, or they're drifting away, or they're just not part of each other's circle anymore. It's just that way. That's what 8-8 Lionsgate this year is about. Those of you who, whether you think you're moving up or down in your energy, you're going to be looking for people who have the same energy that matches with yours. You're
Mhm.
not going to put up with the BS anymore. And sometimes, if the BS people realize you're not coming along with them, they're going to strike out. So maybe it's better to be a little defensive.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like Facebook or Snapchat or whatever I got in social media.
mhm,
One dude on Snapchat that I know, just follow him. He
mhm,
posts some racist stuff about Jason Aldean. I'm like, you're not my friend anymore. Don't need to say it.
mhm.
And I've kind of noticed that too. Some people are getting still a little radical. They don't need to be in your
Th-
friend, your
Yeah,
soul family.
yeah. 2 years ago, when I saw us hitting a split in the road, I did some shows with some other readers. This before I knew Dear Sweet Scott enough to come over here, and we were seeing that the road was splitting, and you're going along your road and you're seeing a friend back there, and you're trying to reach back and help them, but actually you can't, and all you're going to end up doing is hurting yourself by trying to support their delusional thinking. So, and that's what some of the Nine Candles is about right now. As this energy moves in on us, and we have more universal energy, um, it's going to be real interesting to see how we flow and how we go. But a lot of people have told me that, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from just talking about it, that we really are at a point where we really are so, we have to be so committed to our own path. So it's enlightenment for yourself, accepting the new energy for yourself, accepting your new energy within the collective, and trying to join together with people who are closer friends. And, we've got a marvelous community you can tap into through readers and other things. So, yeah, patience.
You
Not
know,
patience. I hate patience.
I got that's the two cards came out today is patience.
Patience and
Even
no
if it
more
has
hate.
to be family,
Right. No more hate.
no more
You
hate.
know, we've had enough. And it's time to get on with it. So if you join my community, if you come over, you don't have to join. If you subscribe, you'll get the notices about when the Nine Candles, which is actually 10 nights, because we have an intro night, and it'll end on the 7th of August, so that you're free on the 8th to do what you want to do with the energy, you know, of what you want to do. Just somebody just put it up. Just be kind. That's true. Just be kind to other people and hope they'll be kind to you. Because, it's better let people go and live with the delusions they want to live with. I don't think you're going to change their thinking
Yeah,
anytime soon.
you know, let them be in their own course. Let spirit
And
do the work. They'll have their if they're a true friend, a true family member that loves you, they will come back when the time's right
right.
and apologize. And it's happened to me before. You let them go and they come back and apologize. I was wrong.
And also, if you've said something hard or difficult to someone, show them compassion and show yourself compassion by letting it go. And that may mean saying something to them. I had a friend who went in for routine medical tests this week, and she's now in the ICU. And she and I hadn't talked for about 6 months because we just hit a loggerheads about a couple things. And so when she gets out of the ICU, because I'm not going to a hospital, she and I are going to have a long talk. But sorry about that if it's your dad's anniversary of his passing. The best thing that's happened to you is that you're past the years, the first year, all those anniversaries. There's a person that commented that that's the holiday they're on. But being calm now is a superpower.
Yeah, not not taking that negativity in and worry.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Because worry is just borrowing problems from tomorrow. It's if it hadn't happened yet, it hadn't happened yet. Do now.
yeah, and have no worries about Jack Smith and whatnot. He's going to do his job. I have
Mm-hmm.
no fears about that.
Yeah, and when we worry about it, we block it. We put up a negative screen. So, just that's most beneficial outcome for all. And
Even by some unreasonable thing that 45 is on the ticket in prison, We win easy. That would be a good thing, actually.
We're winning right now when you talk to groups that really know how to poll voters. And this doesn't mean that y'all can get complacent because Biden wins, unless he's got a Congress and a Senate he can work with, Biden doesn't win. So do whatever you can in your state, and I don't care how red it is. I live in Texas and I still work with people I feel that I can help, or even if it's sending them $5. But really, this is the time to invest in candidates. This is the time to look at candidates if you're interested in that, because this is the time when talking to me about Cornyn ain't going to do anything about Cornyn. People in Texas need to go do some, or Cruz or whomever. We need to support what we want to support, and then hope that it turns out the way we were seeking for it to. And I can tell you I know people that are already out working on campaigns for 2024. And this is the time when they need your help to get information in, to identify voters, to start reminding people now. Yeah, it seems like a long time away. They're going to snap their fingers and it's going to be October 2024. Then what do you do? Yeah, don't sit on your laurels. Work for our democracy. Yes.
Love is all you need.
Yep.
Okay. If you're depressed, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future. If you are at peace, you're living in the moment.
Wow. That's beautiful. I think we should close on that, Scott. We're not going to improve on that.
No. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Everyone have a beautiful day. Thank you, Nancy, for your expertise again. Love to all.